One of the things I learned in life is that there's great power in ignoring people. And this may come in the form of anybody that may be disgruntled or don't like you for whatever reason. We've all come across those people in life that simply because you exist, someone doesn't like you. It could be in the form of a friendship gone bad or a relationship gone bad between a man and a woman. The most powerful thing that you can do in them situations is ignore them, especially when it comes to male-female relationships. Because when you close the door and turn the page, and that person is emotional, and especially when it comes to women, and this is why it's a feminine trait. You ignore a woman and you move on, and you tell her to kick the traces, or she leaves you, and then you just straight out just ignore her like she just doesn't exist. What happens is this spirit comes over them and they're like, well, I wasn't really relevant in their lives in the first place. Well, he really didn't like me. And it angers them. And so, what I've noticed is not that you may not have felt something towards them or didn't care about them, but when someone, has left you or you left them or whatever, and you ignore them, that's a chief sign. That's a chief sign that you've turned the page. This is why I've never been in a situation where, I was begging somebody to come back to me. Once they left, they left. I've never called them. I've never initiated contact. Hey, man, it's over. It's over. And it shows power on your side. It shows self-control and discipline. So never attempt to acknowledge someone or even give someone the time of day once that relationship or it's ended. The most powerful thing that you can do is ignore them. What it does is it gives you strength because you're not in a situation as to where they feel as though they have any power over you. They have any authority over you. Because at the end, this is spiritual warfare at its finest. And so that's what I would always suggest to people. Those who talking about you, those who dogging you out, those who demeaning your character, whatever, ignore them. Ignore them. There's power in that. There's power in the ability to show that their words mean no relevance at all. Because at the end of the day, the reason why they're attacking you and they're dogging you out is because they're angry at you and they want you to feel that pain. They want you to acknowledge what's going on. This is why, and they'll make up lies. And I'm talking about, I'm not talking about legitimate testimonies. I'm not talking about legitimate issues or gripes that you can back up by facts and information. I'm just talking about this straight people that, just vile towards you. Ignore them. It gives them no power. And you know what it does as well is it infuriates them that you're ignoring them because it's showing them that you really mean no relevance at all. You have no power and you have no relevance to them. So this is why they are infuriated so much. And you want to infuriate them more? Ignore them. Act like they don't exist. It's amazing how, you can do this, and I speak this primarily from the perspective of, an ex-girl or something like that, ignore them, move forward. They get all in their feelings. They get all riled up and stuff. What's the point? If you thought that the grass is greener, you thought that you can go ahead and do better. Me personally, in that area, 99.999% of the time, I have yet to see someone do better. I've yet to see someone go on and one up me in that regard. When it comes to the quality of man and the stature and the ability of man, I've yet to see it. But word to the wise, you're dealing with people like this, simply put, ignore them. You give them no power, no authority, and you give them no standing. And it's amazing, right? One of the things I've noticed as well is when you do this and things go awry in your life and you've ignored them, they can't blame it on you because you're not going back and forth with them. Very important concepts to understand. When they're crashing and burning, the last thing that I want to do is give them any kind of reason to say, yeah, he's the reason why. Because when their life is crashing and burning, what they're doing is they will turn around and they'll attempt to blame everybody else. Anybody that they have confrontation or issue with, they'll attempt to blame them for the reason why they're in the situation that they're in. So the best thing is when they're crashing and burning and you haven't talked to them or even acknowledged them in years, they can't blame you in anything. They know that their downfall is because of themselves, not because of anything that you did or said to them. Because, we live in an age where nobody wants to, there's no accountability whatsoever, especially with the so-called American woman in this day and age, let alone the so-called Black American woman in this day and age. There's no accountability whatsoever. So the idea is that when you remove yourself and you ignore them and you don't feed into anything that's going on with them and that downfall takes place, they can't blame it back to you. They can't hold you accountable. They can't do anything vicious or anything towards you because you had nothing to do with them. You had nothing to do with their situations or what was going on with them. And so therefore, they can't attribute it to you because, again, lack of accountability. So I say over and over again, when people, whether it's relationships or friendships, anything that goes right, ignore them, leave them alone, let them go on about their way. Don't acknowledge them at all. And you'll find peace and strength in that action.